Hi, everybody. I'm Mel Doerr, the Aloha shirt psychic with my Hawaii hat on. His bad hair day, you all, what's left of it. No, anyway, and I've got Kevin in the house, Kevin Chandler. Hey,
Hey
Kevin.
Mel, hey everyone, nice to be here.
Normally we do Thursday nights, but this past Thursday I had to reschedule because I had a townhouse meeting. I'm the president of our townhouse association, and it was it was to discuss budget, which
No fun. No
anyway.
worries.
Kevin agreed to do it tonight. So Kevin, you've got some good news. Tell us about your Reiki.
Oh yeah. I just about a week ago I finished my Usui Reiki training and just got my master's certificate in Reiki. So I'm really excited about that and hopefully not in the too distant future start teaching some classes for people interested in that.
You go, Kevin.
Yeah, and it's been amazing. Just the transformation and just getting attuned to this new energy and just really excited for this next new chapter coming in. So
Can you use it to give me a facelift?
I don't know if it works on tightening. It might actually relax it. So
No, I don't know what relax. Oh,
pull
gravity,
it.
gravity's taking its toll. I'll be 69 next month. Gravity's happening. All right. So Kevin, if how can they text you if they need to get a hold of you?
So you can either email me at kevinlovingvibrations@gmail.com or you can send me a text message 440-376-4088. And please come on over to my YouTube channel, Kevin's Loving Vibrations, and subscribe. Love to have you.
So, okay, repeat the email address slowly.
KevinLovingVibrations@gmail.com.
Vibration or shuns?
Shuns with an S. And if you go over to my channel, I have all of that posted in my description box for my videos, and my About section has all that.
Kevin Loving Vibrations at gmail.com.
Perfect.
I always ask because I always write it down. But that's okay because we want people to go to your channel. We want people to call you for Reiki. We want people to book appointments for
Yeah, and I just posted on my community board, um, my offerings, my service offerings that I'm featuring right now. So you can check that out.
All right, we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, lots of stuff going on.
Lots. I'm not going to touch Super Bowl Sunday. I didn't even watch. I took yesterday off. I had a Friday evening. I had to cancel my 3 o'clock appointment because I had an episode of Vertigo, and I took yesterday off because I just wanted to, lay down. Vertigo. People say vertigo, and I ended up in the hospital for a couple of days with it once. So
Mm.
I don't know what's making it come back. So
You're
I
just
guess
taking some time to recharge and rest a little bit, kind of get that
last
balance
time I
back.
went through an MRI and they didn't find anything, not even a brain. Jeez. I always worry, is it a brain tumor or is it? I think it's inner ear, but
Yeah, I was gonna say it feels like ear to me.
okay. Renette Williams, here we go.
All right, let's go.
Not sure if you can answer this question. Do you know why they are shooting down alien aircraft? US jet shoots down flying object over Canada. Okay. Well, Kevin and I were talking before. I thought there had been three, but there's been four. Number one, I don't feel my guides tell me these are not extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
Uh, Kevin, you came up with a very good psychic answer, so go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying. Well, and just on the news a couple of hours ago, they shot down one over Lake Huron. Um, so if you don't count the Chinese balloon, it's like three of them. But for me, I was just kind of feeling, I feel like a Russian connection with these last three, and it's almost like a partnership with China and Russia. I think they're kind of in cahoots with that, just to try to come through as strong and try to intimidate us is what I was kind of feeling, like a use of force almost. And also I do think monitoring our infrastructure as well is part of their goals with this.
I think part of it was intimidation as well, and I think the other part was like that Russian spy ship off the coast of Hawaii that was gathering
Yeah.
information. And I kind of think, it's their way of really, and I'm sure that there's some former people in government here knew about it, and I
Mm.
think it's their Russians way, the Chinese way of saying, I think it's a diversion as well.
Yeah, I think a diversion as
Their way
well.
of saying, nobody's doing anything about it, so the other party, Republicans, could say, but we would do something about it.
Yeah.
So, don't forget, Putin is former KGB, and they go to many, many different links and leaks to provide misinformation, fear mongering, and all of that stuff. I mean, I just read that Israel's on the verge of um, of a constitutional collapse because Netanyahu wants to put all of these ultra right wing things in place, and people are speaking up. And I see a lot of people in Israel protesting in the streets. I almost think Netanyahu better be careful. He might have the beginning of a civil war on his hands. And
Okay.
I think Putin wants that because he can destabilize the Middle East,
Well, yeah, and I mean,
destabilize
Putin's
here.
ultimate goal too is, and why he interfered in our elections is, to break up our democracy, and he loves the infighting, and all the misinformation that's coming out from the Republican parties. There's definitely a link there.
I think
Um,
the Republicans like it too because they want chaos, because they can say,
yeah,
we can fix it.
right. They caused it. I hadn't heard of that Israel wasn't doing so good. I knew that Netanyahu got back in, but I almost feel with that, I feel like it's going to be short lived again because I don't know if they had another election or they weren't able to stabilize the government, and then he ended up leaving briefly. Um, but I almost feel like he's not going to be in for a very long time again.
I just think the Russians interfere in that because they want to weaken or destabilize Israel. Then in that case, they could destabilize the Middle East, and some of their cronies over there can take power.
Yeah.
The same as they're trying to do here, like the House investigating the Democrats and weaponization of government. Now, isn't that hypocrisy?
Yeah.
We weaponize government. The repubes like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I laugh. But Kevin, you brought up something. You said that they want to. It's diversion, deceit, denial.
Yeah. Yeah, and and I think really too a lot of it is because they see the writing on the wall. I mean, especially with a lot of their involvement in January 6th, and I'm telling you that indictments are coming soon, at least for Trump. But a lot of the people in the House and some in the Senate I see being indicted as well. Um, and so it's all to muddy the waters, to say that it's a witch hunt against them, and yeah, really just divert. But you know what? I think the American people are seeing from this committee just how crazy these MAGA Republicans are. I mean, with MTG, they look like a fool running. It's a circus.
My psychic light bulb just went on,
Yeah,
and it was like, okay, I think you're right. There's indictments coming down. And so the reason they're having these hearings, so these so-called hearings, which is
yeah,
really, I don't even call it a witch hunt. I call it a circus, actually.
it is a
Uh,
circus.
they're doing it to say that we didn't do anything wrong. It's the Democrats weaponizing government. Oh,
Hmm.
really? You tried to overthrow the government,
Right,
Marjorie and
right.
Matt, everybody else. I am so glad that Jack Smith called up on Pence
Oh yeah,
to
lots of stuff going on this week.
testify. Was it testify or I forget what he was.
He sent him a subpoena,
Oh, a subpoena
I
to
think, to answer questions.
for deposition or something.
Yeah, but Trump's already saying that he's claiming that executive privilege stuff on Pence's behalf, beforehand. It's not going to go anywhere, and it's already, how many court cases do they have to have on it?
It's not gonna fly. No pun intended. Speaking of alien spacecraft.
Or the fly that landed on Mike Pence's head during his debate with Kamala.
Exactly. It's not gonna fly. Excuse me.
How do you feel about that? Because I kind of feel like Mike Pence doesn't want to talk, and I think that he wants things to kind of, he would love to get out of not having to speak against it.
Was gonna have to talk.
Hmm.
And if he lies, it ain't pretty. And don't you think it's amazing they just found more documents in his house? Because I know what's up here. Trump's going to say, well, you found documents in Pence's place and you found documents in Biden's place, and you're not doing anything to them.
Right.
But excuse me, Donald, you refused to hand over the documents when they asked for
Mm.
it. Now all of a sudden his lawyers are handing over more documents, and supposedly he had turned them all over.
Yeah, I think they just took a one of his aides' laptops that had classified information copied to it. So it's like making copies of classified information on an aide's laptop. So
Oh,
here we go with the laptop story again. You know, everybody wants to talk about Hunter's laptop, and I guess now we're going to be talking about Trump's laptop.
right. Well, they use Hunter's
Crazy.
laptop as just a way, hear it again, the 3Ds, diversion, deceit, denial.
Mm,
But I can see where Trump's lawyers are going to be coming from with his defense. Well, everybody else did it. Well, yeah, everybody else might have robbed a bank, but we'll take a look at them as well. But right now, we're looking at Donald Trump and what he did.
hmm
So that's not a really good defense, I don't think.
No, I don't think so
An
either. And there's
executive,
a big difference too with cooperating and, you know, giving over the documents rather than saying that you gave them all,
here
and
again,
having hundreds of documents that you're hoarding and
here
keeping.
again is the diversion. But I
Hmm
still see some people coming forward, like from Russia and maybe China, saying that they got documents from the Trump administration.
Yeah. And we see them, and me and you both have talked in the past too about the Mueller report kind of resurfacing, and I really see a lot of like the Russian connections and dark money channels, um, and their influence on the Republican Party. A couple of Democrats I feel involved with it as well, but that really coming out to the surface.
Right. Okay. Candy Mullen. Hi, Mullen, Kevin. Will John Fetterman, Pennsylvania, complete his Senate
Mm.
term? I understand he was in the hospital because he was lightheaded. I'm
Yeah.
always lightheaded, but that's beside the point. I see him finishing his term.
He's he's got to take it a little bit easy though. I just did a reading on my channel on Thursday, and I got that he needs to rest. I do think that he is working really hard and almost needing to rest a little bit. I'm with you, Mel. I feel like he's going to complete his term, but if he wasn't able to, thankfully we have Josh Shapiro as the governor in Pennsylvania, so it's not like that's going to a Republican governor's appointing a Republican Senate candidate. So it would stay Democratic if he did decide to leave. But I think he's going to stick it out.
He ran against Mehmet Oz or something.
Yeah, he ran against
The snake oil doctor.
right.
All right. Kathy Reagan's. Hello, fabulous Auntie Aloha Mel. And the very handsome Kevin Chandler. Yeah.
Thank you.
Ooh, she just scored like 5 brownie points.
Yeah.
My question is about the aftermath of that deadly earthquake in Turkey and Syria. Do your guys see more stringent laws in regards to construction of multi-story buildings to prevent collapse and high mortality in future seismic events like what earlier this week? Blessings to you both.
Yeah. What a devastating
Horrible.
event with that. So much loss of life. I do see a lot of it's interesting because I think obviously a lot of the infrastructure was poor because of, I think, the government allowing some things to slide that shouldn't have. But I do feel like they are going to put the infrastructure of these high-rise buildings. That's going to be more important because of all the loss of life, and there's really a lot of people coming up and speaking out about it.
Well, my guides show me too that obviously they're poorer countries, at least some of them were, and they just didn't have the building codes. They just kind of put the buildings up, and God knows what kind of maintenance they did on them.
Yeah.
But I do foresee as well more stringent building codes. And I don't know if you can make an earthquake-proof building, but I think they can put it on something that moves back and forth so the building won't topple. When the ground does that, whatever it does. So I do see more stringent codes coming in place, yes. But
Yeah.
you think a humongous earthquake, and the building codes can only insure against so much. And if
Right.
the earthquake goes above that, things are going to happen. But I think a lot of those buildings were old, outdated, poorly maintained, and that's why they had so much loss of life. I mean,
Yeah.
33,000 so far. That's just, I mean, oh my God,
And I'm afraid there's quite a bit more than that too.
that they haven't even reported.
Hmm. Yeah,
At
very
first it
sad.
came out, it was like they said 3,000 people. I'm like, oh no, 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 it's going to go
A
much
lot
higher,
more. Hmm.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sending all the people in Turkey and Syria a lot of love and healing white light of protection.
Yep. Okay. TK, hello to my favorite guys. Another 3 brownie points.
Thank you.
My question is about kids deported by Russia from
Mm.
Ukraine. At the end of December, the reported number was 13,000, with a comment that this number is increasing every day, and the Ukrainian authorities saying that they still have to find out at least about tens of thousands of Ukrainian children who were abducted. My question is, will kids be returned home reunited with their families? How many of them will be lost forever?
Mm.
I see many of them being reunited with their families.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, unfortunately, I mean, there will be some that are displaced or maybe not making it through, but I do see a vast majority of them getting to go back home.
Well, look at what we're doing here with governors. Like, the only one thing I agree, I never thought I'd say there's only one thing I agree with Donald Trump on. Only one thing.
What's that?
And he's calling Ron DeSatan, Ron DeSanctimonious.
Oh yeah, and we've been saying it too. We felt like a connection with for entertainment purposes only, a connection with DeSantis and Gates, and the fact that there's pictures coming out of him when he was younger as a teacher with underage girls and having parties and all that. I think that that's just the beginning of a lot more to come out.
Never throw stones when you live in a glass house.
That's true.
But I think, you know, look at what we're doing here. The sanctimonious, I'm going to use that. Donald, I stole your term, okay? Uh, to Satan, that he wants to start taking a lot of these undocumented immigrants and children and sending them to refuge, supposedly cities and refuge states and things like that. That is illegal.
Hmm.
And he's going to be called to task for that.
Abbott from Texas too.
So, we can shudder about what how many people from Ukraine are being deported to Russia. Well,
Mhm.
we're trying to do the same thing with people how can a country separate children from their
Mhm.
parents?
Yeah,
That's just that's
it's
just
evil.
vile. I mean,
But
um,
I do see a vast majority of those kids going back home. Absolutely.
here
Very
too,
sad. Hmm.
here too, being reunited with their parents.
Do you feel like a lot of those kids are being kept in like camps? Is what I'm kind of feeling.
The Satan is one of the biggest violators of human rights there is.
Mm.
Maybe he should go live with Putin.
Right?
Maybe you should learn Russian.
Right. Make sure to watch out for windows.
Yeah, right. Don't go on a high rise, okay?
Right.
It fell out a window. It was on the first floor. Okay.
He can take a couple of his colleagues from that party with him.
Um, well, Catherine Tarakovsky wants, hi, Mel and Kevin. Love you both. Thank you. Will Pence finally testify now that he's been served with a subpoena?
He's going to, but he's not going to like it, and I don't see him going above and beyond and sharing everything that if there's things he can keep to himself, he will. But I feel like a lot of it, most of it, the DOJ already knows, so they're kind of going and seeing what he'll be honest with and be able to catch him if he's lying.
I agree.
But I see trouble for Mike Pence coming up too. Maybe it stems from this. I don't feel jail time, but I feel maybe even more investigation.
I
That
don't
or maybe some of his classified documents, but I see him in some trouble.
I don't see him indicted, but I see Trump indicted
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
on numerous counts
A lot
from
of
different
counts.
places.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who else might be in hot water is Clarence Thomas. That keeps hitting me.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Ron Brock, hi, Kevin and Mel. Thank you for all you do for us. Thank you. Thanks for
Yeah,
being
thank you.
supportive. Do you see an end to Santos? Yes,
Mm.
yes, and yes.
Yeah, I think out of the group of the crazies in the Congress, I think he'll be out before the indictments come for some of those congressional members. Yeah, he's got a lot more trouble coming coming up here and in Brazil.
He's going to be under indictment. I
I
see.
feel like he might just get arrested from like the Congress and be forced out that way.
I see him extradited, or I see him in Brazil a standing trial. So I don't
Mm,
know if he flies somewhere and they grab him. Who knows? But I see him in front of a judge in Brazil.
yeah, I don't think he's going to be in there long. Maybe a
No.
couple months.
Okay. How about the other carnival barkers? He said Jim Jordan. Oh my God, he's frightening. Marjorie Trader Green,
Mm,
Kevin McCarthy, and the other main people there. You know, it's funny. I saw Marjorie Taylor Greene questioning somebody on that weaponization of government committee.
mm.
And out of nowhere, she's asking this guy about critical race theory. And then she goes, let me explain what it is. It is a theory that is really racist against white people.
She's insane.
And the guy is looking at her and goes, like, what does that have to do with anything?
Well, I think it was something. I don't know if it was the weaponization committee or if it was a different committee, but there was something she was saying about. I think it was an Illinois school that got like $5 or $6 billion to pour into critical race theory. It was insane. That's what I'm saying, though. I think that the circus is going to be very telling for a lot of voters, and even some moderate Republican voters, seeing how crazy their party is.
Now they're trying to ban the pill,
Mm.
uh, the abortion pill.
Morning after pill.
Is like, whoa. But I'm asking myself, how much money did like Florida get or other states get to keep trying to ban critical race theory and promote their racist stuff? You
Mm.
know? So she didn't talk about that. And I just have to be
Enforcement.
really, I really have to be tacky and just really just tacky. Is like when she heckled the president in State of the
Mm.
Union, she
Yeah.
would have been arrested by the fashion police.
Yeah, we had the State of the Union that we haven't talked about yet either.
Gary
So
said,
much
no, why
going
don't you
on.
just call her Snow White? I go, she's as far away from Snow White as I am from being a rocket scientist.
She
Oh,
looks
I'm
like one
sorry,
of those.
a weather balloon scientist.
Oh, I was gonna say she kind of looked like a Russian oligarch's wife with that big white fur coat on.
My God. When I look at her, thank God I'm gay. Sorry. Maybe she's trans. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, nobody would.
Mm.
Um, Marvin Taylor Green.
Marvin.
I'm gonna start calling her Marvin.
Mm.
I gotta be nice. I don't want to go to YouTube jail.
Right.
Uh anyway. I mean, when I
Yeah.
hear her talk, it's like fingers going down a blackboard. It's like,
Mm.
anyway.
Yeah, she's extremely vile.
Well,
Disgusting.
McCarthy's going to be on the way out too, because he's going to go down as the absolute worst Speaker of the House in American
Mm.
history. And
Yeah.
he's trying to bring back the new. Well, he's starting and kind of trying to start a new McCarthyism. But you know what? What's going to happen to him is going to be what happened to Joe McCarthy, except it's going to happen much quicker.
Mm. Well, yeah, he gave up all of his power and control to get that position. I mean, look at him at the State of the Union trying to shush Marjorie Taylor Greene, and he has no control over that party. And one wrong step, they're going to vote him out. He won't be in there for very long.
I agree. I agree.
Yep.
JCat, hi Mel and Kevin, love watching you both. Thank you.
Thank you.
How is the lawsuit filed by the father of the man shot and killed by Kyle Rittenhouse going to go? Well, I don't want to talk about it before it comes to trial or anything, but I always kind of felt that Kyle Rittenhouse would be held liable for something, and
Mm.
this is it. And I'm being very vague for certain reasons.
Yeah.
What do you
I
think?
don't. Is it? Do you know anything about it? I haven't heard about it. I don't know if it's like a civil
All I heard.
lawsuit. or if I don't think I don't know, maybe it's criminal. I don't know,
No,
but I do feel at some point, Kyle Rittenhouse will have to pay for his crimes and I think do some time. I'm not sure if it's from this or something
well, it can't
later
be
on.
this because you can't try somebody twice for the same
So it
thing.
must be a civil lawsuit then.
I think it's a civil lawsuit. I think
But I
this,
see him in some trouble in the future. Maybe it must be for something else then.
I thought about that too, actually. Okay. Lisa Cezanne, there are many doubts about Biden running again on the part of the Dems because of his age. We'll look at Trump's age.
Yeah.
Do you see him being able to manage the rigors of campaigning as well as demands of the president in second term? If not, which Dem would be able to run and win? The man's doing great right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he's going strong.
Yeah. I and there's a bit of free will involved with that too. But as the energy sits right now, I definitely think he's planning on running and is going to run. I've always said in the past, I don't know about um completing a second term if he got that. I feel like Kamala may come in for a couple of years to finish out his term. But I think he's going to be the front runner on our side, and I see him winning in 2024.
Good. All right. I'm sorry. I'm just reading the next question.
You're fine.
Now I'm in moderator mode. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I get it.
Hi, Mel and Kevin. Love watching the two of you do a collab. I've been watching The Killing County on Hulu, which is about Bakersfield, California, police, sheriff, and coroner's offices, putting them all in a very bad light.
Mm,
How is this affecting Kevin McCarthy since this is his district? Thanks for all you do. Blessings and peace. Well, it's not his fault because you have a police department that needs reform, but it would
yeah.
certainly warrant him saying something about it, but he's not going to.
One, I think the whole thing that I haven't heard Kevin McCarthy talk about his district in that way once. So obviously not wanting to draw a whole lot of attention to it, and maybe some backlash because of that too.
Okay. Macarena Toledo or Toledo. Hi, Mel and Kevin. My question is, do you think there will be more Democrats and people who lean to the left in the future than Republicans? I don't know leaning to the left, but what I see is politics coming back more to the center.
Mm,
But I mean, now what we call the center is really to the right. But I'm
yeah.
talking about to the center the way it used to be, before the W years.
Yeah.
And Kevin, you're right. I think we're going to start to see the fracture even more of the Republican Party,
Oh
even if
yeah.
it's not all
We haven't seen anything yet. Just wait till Trump gets involved and starts turning on a lot of people when he starts getting in trouble. He's letting out all of the dirty, dark secrets that he knows of everybody in the party, and it's going to get really ugly. It's going to implode.
You mean Cheeto Head?
Yes, Cheeto
Oh,
Head.
oh yeah. He'll turn on his own brother if he knew it would benefit him. Look at
Hmm.
what he's doing to the Satan. Well, he never liked the Satan anyway.
No. Well, he especially doesn't like him now that you know, he's polling just as good, if not better, than Trump is in a lot of these polling.
Well,
I
here's the thing. If
don't.
DeSantis, if Trump can even raise a doubt, even if the stuff Trump is saying is lies, he'll litigate it in court for years. He's not going to worry about that. Trump's not.
Hmm.
And if he can make DeSantis look bad, he'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the whole
And,
thing about
and
DeSantis
it,
was, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say that this is what he just did. It's just the start of it.
Just to
So,
be
so
not even
buckle up.
buckle up. I mean,
Buckle up.
I heard that DeSantis was giving a speech, and I guess somebody asked about when he was a teacher and this and that about the comment Trump made, and DeSantis said, "I am too busy trying to help the Republican Party. I'm probably misquoting and fight
Hmm.
Biden than to waste my time on that."
Yeah, I waste my time attacking other Republicans, and he's just
That's what he did.
coward.
Yeah.
He had no backbone. There was no courage there to stand up for himself. He just backed down. So just wait.
Well, whether it's true or not, who knows? But I
Mm.
get what Trump is doing.
Oh yeah.
Um, okay. This is a good one. Jenny W. Hey, Mel and Kevin, hope you can tell us something about the 45 AIDS confiscated laptop and thumb drive that was confiscated last August.
Okay.
And I have read other sources that say December. I don't know when it was confiscated.
Oh, it was just confiscated in December.
No, she said some sources say December, but she say it was confiscated last August. Edit. She said I've read other sources that say December. But the question is,
Hmm.
what's some of the outcomes of that? Well, if they can prove it goes back up to Trump and he was
Oh
sending
yeah.
stuff to them, how did the aid get top secret information?
Well, exactly. That's what that classified information was copied, which is illegal. I mean, that goes against the Espionage Act. It's huge,
Well, the
and
next
there's so many
question
more components to that whole story that is really going to get Trump and some of his lawyers and people around him in trouble.
that we're not going to learn until it's investigated. And
One, there will be things in there that they won't discuss because they are so classified and top
I'm
secret.
sure Jack Smith is investigating it.
Oh yeah, he's on top of it.
The next
Like I
one,
said,
the next one from Mike said Trump had one of his aides copy top secret
mhm,
documents that he stole onto a laptop. Well, they got to prove that he had an aide copy them.
yeah.
That's the deal. Can they prove that can they prove that Trump, right, had an aide copy them, or did he
Mm,
copy them and send them to an aide? Um, will something actually be done about this because it's going to be considered to be espionage of the highest order? The
yeah.
answer is yes, yes, and yes.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, Mary Z wants to know, please, 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 when will the people of North Korea know and live freedom? That's going to take a while.
Yeah. I just read on that on my channel a week or two ago, and I do feel change, but it's going to take a while. I'm afraid it's going to take a long while. There's just so much brainwashing, and so much fear that those poor people in North Korea have to deal with. Um, I mean, there's no speaking out against their government. They have to be worshipped like they're gods.
But many of them think that he is like a god because they
No, well,
don't.
that's what I'm saying. It's like
But
a
I see
brainwashing.
what I see happening in China is at some point somebody's going to come forward, a leader to be elected to, not
Mm,
by the people, but by the party, to be the
yeah.
head of the Communist Party in China, is going to do the same thing in China that Gorbachev did in the former Soviet Union.
Mm,
And I tend to think that might happen in Korea as well, but it's going to be a long while off in Korea.
yeah. I agree with you.
Okay, teacher Barbara. Yay, Barbara, I think teachers should make the most money of anybody on the planet.
Absolutely.
Okay. I work for VipKid, a company that hired English speaking teachers to teach Chinese kids how to
Mhm.
speak English. The Chinese government put the damper on foreign teachers. So you see things changing. It was a great sideline, and I made some fabulous connections. It was heartbreaking for so many of us to be taken away from our Chinese kids.
Mm,
I don't think that they're gonna let. I don't think that they're gonna um, let English speaking teachers, people from here or Great Britain, teach Chinese kids in China for quite a while.
for a little while. Yeah, and also too, it's almost like their economy is so bad right now, and they're really struggling. So putting that extra money into doing stuff like that, I don't see them doing that right now.
I'm just going to read this
Sorry
one.
to say.
We've already answered this, but I'm going to touch on it again.
Okay.
Hi, Mel and Kevin. A laptop of 45s coupled it was a laptop of 45s that belonged to him. I didn't know that. I
I
thought,
thought it was an aid, is what I heard, but I
okay,
could be wrong.
okay. Coupled with additional classified documents has been recently turned over to the Department of Justice. The stakes seem to be getting higher with regard to the risk to our national security.
Yeah.
What needs to happen to be prevented from happening in order for him to be indicted? Well, I think it's just right around the corner with his indictment.
Mm-hmm.
He thought if he could run for president, that would kind of halt or slow down the process. And
Not gonna
and who's controlling the House, McCarthy or Trump? It's Trump.
happen.
And who's controlling Trump? Putin.
Yep.
So, um, you know, I had said all along, my guides had showed me all along, and you said it too, that those documents were a threat to national security.
Absolutely.
And I see them, Linda Grindle had said right when I first met her, I was talking to her on the phone and she goes, I had this dream and I saw a newspaper flash on the TV, Trump indicted for treason. And I'm like,
Mm,
what? I mean, at that point, it was like, what? And I was like, Linda, what have you been taking? We laughed, right? But look at what's coming down. She was right.
yeah.
A lot of people in the community have been right on about this.
Yeah, and you know what too, it's there's so much information and so much they're investigating and so many leads that they're following, and as we've said too, like Merrick Garland is looking for evidence and then evidence to back that up and then even more evidence and just really making a strong case because it's unprecedented to go after a former president. So yeah, that evidence has to be so strong. So there's so much stuff that they're doing, but you know, he's going to get indicted here, not too, probably very soon from the FBI.
I agree.
Hmm.
Charlie Cardebeck, what was the real purpose of the object shot down over Canada? I am convinced it was information gathering, all of
Yeah,
them.
me too.
I mean, I think before under Trump, when those things were up there, I think Trump knew some, well, back then that some were up there
Hmm.
and they would already passed over and gone back to where they came from or landed somewhere. He knew about it and didn't say anything. But now, I think what's happening now is because they're so high up, you kind of find one and then you start looking for others. And I think that's
Right.
too. But
Hmm.
those things are clearly information gathering.
Yeah,
And
I
I
agree.
think that they might not have a propulsion system, but I think some way or another, balloons don't have propulsion. And
Hmm.
they're kind of low tech with high tech instruments because they go with which way the winds are blowing. And so I would like to know where they were launched from. That's what I'd like to know. And I think some of them were launched from Russia. I
I do
really,
too. I feel a strong Russia connection and like China and Russia working together to do this.
years ago, there was some famous psychic, I can't remember her name, predicted that there was ever a war like that Russia and China would side. And everybody thought, no way.
Mm,
You know? Hmm. Albeit I don't see like a nuclear annihilation thing going
yeah,
on.
I agree.
Okay. Um, Arwen the Great, is Russia trying to affect our weather here in the US? No. It was
Mm,
more intelligence gathering.
yeah.
Or it might have been some kind of weapon of some kind, some kind of sonic weapon. Remember those people that got sick that were in the
Yeah, the Havana syndrome. I'm not feeling that, although I did feel like that was coming from Russia, maybe China too. Um, it feels more like information gathering for me. Not, but I'm sure that there's resources put into. They would love to be able to affect the weather. I don't feel that.
Well, Love's Peace just came up with a very good question as well. Before we got started, Kim says, Mel, we're going to get a lot of questions about these
Yeah,
objects. I'm like, you're right, Kevin. You must be psychic.
I must be psycho or psychic.
Well, I'm psycho. Okay. Love's Peace. Was the object the US and Canada took down a Russian drone? No, it's not a drone because it didn't have a propulsion system, or it could have been a drone without a propulsion system.
Yeah, something.
To distract
It,
us from the DLJ getting closer to the truth about Trump and Russian connection. Now that I believe.
yeah, that actually resonates to me because it did feel like it was a bit of a diversion too. Like, let's look over here. Let's not, that
Division. Look over
resonates
here
really
while we're doing
strong.
stuff over here, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that
Divert,
there was multi purposes for it.
divert, deceive, deny,
Distract.
distract. Oh, that's the D I was looking for. Remember I said there was a
I
fourth.
got you. Yep, it just came to me.
Yay. I got to remember those. Divert, deceit, deny, and distract. The
Yep.
four Ds. The four Ds,
4D.
Trump and and the repubes that are doing the weaponization of government committee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's political payback is all that is. That whole thing in the House.
Mm.
Read between the lines. That's what I tell the repubes over there. All right. Will that horrible Marge, will that horrible
Marge.
Marge, Joe, will that horrible Marge, I know what we can call her because she had that white on. We can call her the Ice Queen. How's that?
Okay.
Will that horrible Marge, the Ice Queen, ever go away? Yep.
Yeah, at some point.
I I want to write a book called Horrible Marge, the Ice Queen. It'd be a great horror movie, wouldn't it?
I like I like the horror genre.
When I looked at that outfit she had on, that was scary.
Yeah. Yeah, she's gonna go away. And I've always said too, I feel like there's some trouble with her part in January 6th. And if there is no jail time for her, which I'm not saying, I definitely feel like a lot of investigations. Um, I see her, you know, she's done. Like she won't run for reelection if she doesn't get taken out before then. I don't think.
Sweetie Darling Lulu. I just love that name. Every time
Mm.
I see that, I love that name. Sweetie Darling Lulu. Okay, hello, gents. What's going to happen between DeSatan, you mean DeSanctimonious DeSatan, and Disney after new tax decision? That's a
No,
good question. Well, I don't think Disney's going to pack up and move. They've got too
you
much
don't.
money invested. But what my guides tell me is they're going to invest heavily in future governors that
Mm,
ain't going to be of the DeSatan breed, or not going to be the party of DeSatan.
yeah.
And don't kid yourself, huge corporations can help buy an election.
Mm. Oh, absolutely. Especially a company like Disney. I mean, when you think of Florida, what's one of the first things that come to your mind? Disney. So there's a lot of power there. I feel Disney's going to be okay. I don't see them having to leave. Um, it feels like things are kind of up in the air for some things for a little while, but I feel like things get resolved very quickly.
I think you're right.
Yeah. I
I
don't
see
see there
them,
being I don't see there being issues in the not too far future for them.
they're
They'll
not
get
going to
things figured
support
out.
Satan for president, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Next, they'll be banning Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck books from schools.
I almost wonder because I know that they just went back to their old CEO, and I wonder if him and Satan will actually like come to terms on something. That kind of just came to me. I feel Disney being okay though.
I don't know. They'll probably try to negotiate, but this thing's going to have it
Mhm.
his way or his way. But he should know better than to mess with Disney. And that's what he's trying to do. And you don't
Yeah.
poke the bear, and he's just poked the bear.
Mm.
And that bear ain't pretty when it wakes up.
Right.
Okay. Teresa Jackson, she must live here in Chicago. Hi, Mel and Kevin. I'm wondering, will Chicago get a new mayor, and also is the worst of the winter over already here?
Mm.
Thanks again. I really appreciate your work. It makes things easier. We have had mild winters for the past 4 or 5 years. I remember when I first moved here back in the 80s, it would snow, and we wouldn't it's snowing
Mm.
in October, and we wouldn't see the ground again until spring.
Yeah.
I thought I moved to Siberia. We had some cold weather here for like 3 or 4 days, then it would warm up, then it get cool again. It was like 46 here today, which is unheard of for this time of year in Chicago.
Yeah. Earlier this week it was I'm me and you are like the same kind of like region and like right off the Great Lakes. Because I'm a little bit east of Cleveland, Ohio, but yeah, earlier this week it was like almost 60 degrees in one day. It's crazy in February.
It's supposed to get into the 50s, but then it's supposed to get cold again on Friday.
Yeah,
I think we'll have maybe a snowstorm or two, but I remember one year we went to Hawaii and it was the same temperature there as it was here, and I'm like, wow,
really. That's
it's even too
crazy.
much.
I'm feeling one more big snowstorm I think affecting the northern and northeast US. I'm feeling like one more really bad storm, and then I'm feeling like a second, but it's more minor. But another storm coming in, snowstorm.
What do you think about the mayor, Lightfoot? A lot of people don't like her. Um,
Hmm.
in the beginning, I liked her, but I'm not that fond of her now. I'm predicting another mayor. I could be wrong. I don't live in the city, so I can't vote in city elections. We live in the suburbs, but I don't know. What do you think?
I definitely feel like a challenge. Um, I definitely like multiple people challenging. It's a woman, correct?
Laurie Lightfoot's a woman.
Yeah, a woman. Yeah. Um, I feel like 2 or 3 challengers. I think she might get it though for another term is what I'm kind of feeling.
Well, she's going to have to crack down on the violence in the city, and then we need a prosecutor who will prosecute.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to go into the city. There's certain neighborhoods I don't, you don't go into, but
Right.
I've lived here for 40 years.
Mm,
Anyway, that was good, Teresa. Thank you. It's nice to know we got fellow Chicagoans.
yeah.
All right.
She's got a challenge coming up, but I think she's gonna just squeak through it is what I'm feeling.
And I saw somebody from the Spanish speaking community as mayor.
Okay.
Um, Sean, hello, and thank you both for sharing your talents with this community. Can you please provide an update on the prospects of the Iranian people removing their theocratic regime?
Mm,
And if that is achieved, how successfully will they be in establishing a secular democracy? Cheers. Well, my guys kept showing me people protesting in the streets in Iran, and at some point there would be an end to the theocracy. And
yeah.
a lot of those ayatollahs and a lot of those religious police and stuff like that will have to stand trial for crimes against humanity.
Mm, yeah, I agree. And it definitely feels like I think that there's still protests over there, and it feels like it's getting bigger and bigger.
But I
I
do,
feel like some change maybe towards the end of this year, actually, with that. It doesn't feel like it's too far off.
but I do see a secular democracy coming there. Absolutely,
Mm,
that won't be corrupt.
yeah.
Um, I've been saying that for a long time. So that was a good question.
Mm,
Okay. M. Turple wants to know what's happening with the joy in the post office. Will we ever get rid of him? M, I thought
yeah.
he'd be gone a long time ago. I don't
Hmm.
know, but I see him gone ultimately.
I do too. I've read on it so many times. People ask me that all the time, and I wish I had a better time frame. I mean, timing's always really kind of hard to quite pinpoint, but at some point I see him out of there.
Okay, so Nancy Faye's asking about the objects that we've already covered. So, okay. Inger Peterson. Uh, wow. Will it come to war between Serbia and Kosovo? Love from Denmark.
Mm,
I have to look into that. I understand it's getting pretty bad over there. So I do see conflict, but I see the United Nations coming in to help allay the conflict.
yeah, it feels like there's some. It feels like there's some. It like something that stalls the conflict a little bit, but I do feel like it might actually get to a like a war tension point afterwards.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Fed Girl. Hi, guys. Love the two of you. So, Steve Bannon was sentenced to serve 4 months and is out on appeal. Will he ever go to jail? Yes, yes, and yes. They're going to find him guilty of other stuff too,
Hmm.
especially with January the 6th.
He's getting more than 4 months on different charges, but yeah, I agree. And he will serve those 4 months.
I wonder how he'll look in an orange suit. Maybe he can dye his hair orange to match Trump's. They can share a cell together.
He looks like Jabba the Hutt to me.
That's an insult to Jabba the Hutt.
Uh,
I like Jabba.
yeah, I
Oh,
don't know.
Steve Bannon. Um, Barb,
Something about Bannon though that just really irks me.
we got time for a few more.
Yeah, we can do a couple more.
Barb Mecca. Hi, Mel and Kevin. Enjoy your collaborations. Will South Carolina lawyer Paul Murdoch be found guilty of killing his wife and son? His housekeeper also died mysteriously after falling down the stairs at his home.
Mm,
Paul Murdoch had 1 million life insurance on her. I hope you can shed some light. I don't like to go public on cases like this because I think everybody deserves a fair trial. But I will put it to you this way: I do see him under indictment, and I'll leave it at that.
okay. I've read on it before, so if you want, you can go over to my channel and see what I
I
said. I
just
think
feel weird about it,
I understand absolutely.
it just reminds me of what I said earlier, with people falling out windows in other countries, the oligarchs, and
Mm,
it's like, oh, they fell out a window. Yeah, one story. So his story ain't adding up. How's that grab you?
mm, yeah.
I think I've answered it without answering
I agree with your non-answer.
it. Thank you.
We're on the same wavelength over
On
here.
the same not answer wavelength. Kenneth Templeton. Hi, I love you guys, but can you answer me the question? Well, thank you. That's nice. We could try.
We'll try, right?
Are they going to have uh are they going to prosecute the 5 friends that killed the girl in Mexico? You know what, Kenneth? I can't really answer that because I don't know anything about it. This is the
Mm,
first I've heard of it.
I haven't heard of it either. What was it called?
It's are they going to prosecute the 5 friends that killed the girl in Mexico? I haven't heard anything about it. Uh
It says 5. I don't know if maybe they haven't found them or found the people. I'm feeling like the number 3 is coming through strongly, so maybe they're able to find 3 of them, or 3 are charged with that. Maybe the other 2 are charged with lesser stuff. Maybe there's not enough connection there, but 3 of them is coming through really strongly for me.
okay. Emmy J. Hi, Mel and Kevin. Hope you have a wonderful week ahead. My question is, why does there seem to be so much of a delay in so many of these criminal cases? It's almost like the justice system is letting this country go further down a rabbit hole by allowing these people to continue to spread lies and hate. I'm
Mm.
afraid if they don't do something soon, this country will hit rock bottom. Honey, this country already did hit rock bottom. We're on our way
Yeah.
up.
And like I said earlier, I mean, it takes time. There's a lot to investigate. Multiple things for Trump and all the connections in it, and Garland's going to make sure that he's got evidence on top of evidence on top of evidence.
Well,
I wish things went a little bit faster too, but I would rather somebody coming through and really putting that time into it to make sure that it's a solid case than a sloppy case that they just rush through.
well, I heard a commentator once say, a lie can go around the world 1.5 times why truth is still lacing its bootlaces,
Mm,
but the truth is coming out. And we
yeah.
do live in a democracy, and you just can't accuse someone unfairly, no matter what the media is saying. They
Mhm.
still have to have grounds for indictment. You just can't indict somebody willy-nilly. And they're going to make sure that they've got enough to indict. So
Yeah.
that's what's taking so long. There's a lot to saying that the wheels of justice are slow.
Mm,
Granted that Trump and his cronies, they file suit against everything and everybody and try every legal trick, but sooner or later they run out of tricks and they run out of time. And the clock is about over on their time limit.
absolutely. I'll just say real quick too, while you were talking, my guides kind of whispered in my ear. Um, things are taking time and at their own pace too, because it's to bring awareness and for more people to really get what's going on, to get that wake up call, the little shake up that we need to really, um, see the Republican Party for what it is, and to make those positive changes that we need to make for our future. So it takes time to get more and more people to wake up to what's really going on too.
Okay, I've got time for just 2 more. Laura M. Hi, Mel and Kevin. This is copied from a Newsweek headline. Are the Wagner Group's days in Ukraine numbered? Would you read on this? They are working on behalf of Russia. Thank you. I don't know who the Wagner Group is.
I don't even.
I don't know
I've
what.
heard of it. I don't know what it is though.
I'll have to look it up because I don't know. So Laura can't answer it because I don't know, but I will find out. Okay. Roberta Collier Morales. Hi, Mel and Kevin. It looks like bamboo, hemp, and fungi research concerning creating plastic replacement is in the works. Yes.
Hmm.
Yay. Especially bamboo because it's a grass and it's replaceable and
Mm,
it wears like iron. Do you see big changes in this area happening soon? Yes, I do. And I see companies getting tax breaks to do further research and start implementing it. Will we find ways to clear out the huge plastic swirling garbage in the sea as well? I hear yes.
yeah, I agree with that. I definitely feel like plastic alternatives are coming in, and even ways to decompose some of the plastic. It feels like overall, though, I mean, I agree with you, but it feels like it's over time, like within like this next decade, where there's really a lot of focus on that and a lot of money being put into that. But I agree, it's not like too far out in the future.
Recycle it.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think them being able to break down the plastic, maybe in like a decade or two.
what I see is legislation coming too, that cruise ships, a lot of times they would empty their garbage out at sea. So
Mm,
I see a lot of legislation coming to say, wait a minute, you have to empty the garbage in certain ports and you have to do this.
yeah.
It has to be recycled and it has to be this, it has to be that. That's what I see coming.
Mm,
But here, what can we do? Because people say, how can we do our part? And so what I've done is in my kitchen, I have taken out all the plastic containers and I've
mm,
replaced them with glass containers.
yeah.
And then the plastic containers, what I do is I plant little seedlings in there and things like that. So, because if you throw them out, there's going to be a dump somewhere. So I
Yeah.
figured out ways to reuse those plastic containers, but I've replaced them all with glass. And when I'm done with the plastic containers, I don't throw them out. I
Yeah.
just reuse them for
Recycling
other
them
things.
for your own use. Yeah.
Correct. And then finally, when you can't use them anymore, then I put them in the recycling bin.
Mm, yeah.
So that's something you can do on your own. Like when you go to the grocery store, rather than buying the plastic containers, buy glass. I mean, glass doesn't leach anything out. Things will hold up longer in glass, in my opinion.
Mm,
And so, like I don't even buy plastic cups for the house anymore.
yeah. Well, then there's a lot of things can do too. You can, bring your own recycling, your own bags. Um, when you go
Yeah,
to the
that's right.
grocery store, rather than getting all the plastic ones. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do to really stop that. And I do see a big focus on getting away from the plastics.
When I go to the
It
grocery
all
store,
kind of goes in with this, um, like green technology going into the future, and that really feels like it's getting really big in the next few years.
when I
Big
go to
push
the
away
grocery
from stuff.
store, I bring my own bags. And if I
Yeah.
forget, I have to put them in paper. And then what we do is when we do the recycling, we put the recycling stuff in paper bags so they can recycle that.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. We've got one more question left. We've gone through 41 questions.
Oh, wow. We did good.
Did good. Celtic Crone. Hi, Celtic Crone.
Hello.
I didn't forget about you. I promise. I understand you're doing a show with Kevin, or Kevin's doing it on your program on.
Cool Chrome.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Wrong person. Anyway, different show.
Hmm.
Hi, Celtic Crow. I still like the name.
Yeah,
Ooh. Oh.
you're
Well,
fine.
if you're watching, I didn't forget you either. All right. Will people in the US have to migrate within the next decade from Western states to other areas of the country due to
Mm,
water shortages? What I see is people are going to start being educated about how not to waste water.
mm.
I remember when I was a kid, there was a water shortage in New York City. And when you'd go into restaurants there, they would not serve water unless you ask for it.
She asked for it. Yeah.
So, I see a lot of those things starting to happen.
Yeah, like a lot of conservation coming in too. I do feel like um I do feel like there are some people on the West Coast though that are leaving those states just because they are kind of expensive too. But I don't think that it's like a huge migration of people leaving because of the water supply, and I'm not feeling that.
I think it's more expense. You're right.
Yeah,
I can see
people
housing,
leaving because of the how expensive it is to live in that area.
but I do see housing prices coming down. So good.
Oh, good.
Okay. So if you all want to get a hold of Kevin Loving Vibrations at gmail.com.
Yeah,
You can go to his YouTube channel, Kevin Loving Vibration. If you want to contact him about Reiki or reading, I would suggest getting a reading from Kevin. He's amazing.
thank you.
Phone number 440-376-4088. And I have
You did a
openings
good
on my,
job.
I'm sorry. Yeah, thumbs up. Go, thumbs up, everybody. Go to his channel, thumbs up. I have openings on my Italy trip still, October the 9th. I apologize if I haven't gotten back to everybody. I've just been crazy busy and I took some time off Friday and yesterday because I had these little episodes of
Mhm.
vertigo. So I will get back to you probably tomorrow, a lot of you.
Sounds like fun.
Here's my nervous giggle.
You're fine.
Kevin, thank you so
Hopefully, I was gonna say, hopefully you're not annoying too many people with it, like that one nasty comment that somebody left you.
It is what it is, you know.
Right? There's always that block button for a reason, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
And congratulations to the 2 dogs who passed their Canine Good Citizen test today, Aria and Tesla. They passed.
Oh,
Yay.
nice.
And Angela De Palma is a great trainer. She let me evaluate them. So I'm certified
Cool.
to evaluate for Canine Good Citizen and Canine Good Citizen Advance and all that stuff. And she's a stellar trainer. So I knew when she wanted me to evaluate these dogs would pass. If she trained them, there was no doubt in my mind.
Right.
But it was fun, you know, and you get to know the people. They train at my office on Sundays. We train dogs, and you get to know the people and the dogs, and
Mm.
uh, it felt good. You know, it felt good, and it's nice to see the look on the owners' faces when their dog passes.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome, Mel.
So, all right, so there we have it. Kevin, stay well.
Yes.
Almost
Thursday, my channel.
Thursday, your channel,
Sounds
and
good.
live, right?
Yep, we'll go live.
Kevin had the idea to pre-record today because of Super Bowl, so that's why we did. Kevin, come up with great ideas.
I try.
Do a good job, buddy.
Thanks, you too, Mel.
All right.
Bye, everyone.